Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Face Off. Peter Kibazo, your host. Another Friday. I told you last week that this is one of the best times to be a journalist in any country. Hate it, love it. The drudgery of the job comes with a bit of excitement now. If you're an editor at the table, you are assured of your next story. If you're rolling your cameras and sending out people, you're sure that they will return with a story. Sometimes the stories are ugly, but there are stories. And yes, we are at that again. Yesterday, the news in this country, as it were. I don't know whether I actually received any new news, as it were, but yes, it happened. On the table, I have Charles Romshana. I'm not sure. Yes, Charles Romshana is doing a suit on a Friday. He just dropped the tie. Welcome, Charles.
The Almighty God is great.
I see you're looking very serious. Matters are not light.
We are
preparing for a government of national unity.
We are in Exodus. We are in Exodus.
You are sure you haven't arrived at Canaan?
Not a government of national enemies.
And you are very sure the Pharaoh with his army is going to be swallowed by the sea.
They are going to beat the water.
Yeah, the water is going to swallow the
So
Pharaoh.
who is the Moses?
You are now seeing. We are in position. The Pharaoh with his army, the chariots, are going to be swallowed by water.
I have David Pulko, all the way from Karamoja. He lost the UPC presidency to my friend, Jimmy Akena.
Your friend hired his own delegates conference, which never happens anywhere in the world. For you to be elected and be inaugurated by a delegates conference, you have funded, you have
David,
you have supported.
as I speak now,
it can only happen with President Museveni, who can send buses and bring them. You have to wait until your party has organized a delegates conference. Delegates conference are not Christmas or suits for hire or wedding suits or chairs or
well, David, as we speak now,
he's making a mockery of Uganda People's Congress.
I am a personal friend of the president of the UPC, Jimmy Akena. He's my friend.
He's
on
not
that
a
one, he has a very good bike that I need to borrow one of these days.
I think just
no,
just look
it's
at
a motorbike. It's one of the latest ranges. You don't know about
You just introduced a bicycle that operates on Waraji. So you drink the Waraji as you ride.
but I would like to invite you to a cartoon in the Independent, and you see Akena with a big smile, barring UPC, throwing the last soil in the coffin. So it's a sad commentary of our time.
Well, I can claim a president for a friend. At least that one I can claim.
You can be sure that the owners of the party will come back.
Jimmy is my friend.
You are no longer the friend of man. When they arrest them,
man is my friend as well.
The real owners of the party, the members of the party are going to come back on this. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and viewers, we are joined on the show by Dr. Kakungulu Mayambala. I don't know whether he wants to be called the doctor, because a friend of mine says that when you see the PhD after the name, that the owner does not want to be referred to by the DR. So, Dr. Kakungulu, you will lead us through that. Welcome on board.
Thank you very much.
It is the face-off. I am so the only guy you see on the table without a tie that actually knew it was a Friday and decided to enjoy the Friday is myself, without any coat. Yours truly, Peter Kibazo. I'll be joined by Richard Baguma from Tare along the way. When, I don't know. They come from far. Sometimes they come late, if not always. So, gentlemen, Dr. Kakungulu Mayambala from the law school in Makerere. He also works with the Human Rights and Peace Center, HURIPEC, of Makerere University. And the people at Makerere, the last time we had another one from Makerere.
School of Law or Law School? If there is law school, there is high school. Sorry.
No, I've said both words. Okay. I've said the word school and I've said the word law. So the sequence may differ. All right, and viewers, the events of yesterday. I said as we were beginning that for me, and I told my friend Josephine Mayanja Nkanji yesterday or today, the one that heads the JEPAM Media group, I told her, for me, it's deja vu.
Meaning?
I've seen it, heard it. If I slept, I would have predicted the events of yesterday to the exact note. I knew that this would happen. Actually, the only one I failed on was I expected Kawesi and the others to stop Jepam at the gate and control his exit. That they allowed him to go all the way to Jinja and cause the debacle in Mbale where he wasn't going to arrive, close off the road from Kachonga, close off the one that comes from the other side. I mean, the whole of that hula baloo, God knows for what. But, and I'll start at this, and I'll throw the ball to Charles. Charles will start us off today. For me, the core thing that I found very interesting was that the state was mediating in the disagreements of the NRM. When and if John Patrick Amama Mbabazi may have or may not have offended the rules and regulations of the NRM, and the doctor here will tell me, because as a law prof, he is able to guide us through this. We will disagree with him quite often depending on the parameters. But if JPAM actually offended the regulations of the NRM, where would they take him? They would only seek the hand of the state, I suppose, by going to court and saying we have disagreed on this. When Pulkor and Akena disagree, the police does not go to arrest Pulkor.
They come to guard the 6th floor.
I
That's
don't
what they are doing
know.
at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, in Uganda.
When Besigye and when Nandala and Muntu disagreed on their election, the police did not go to arrest Nandala or Muntu. When the DP has disagreed between Mao and the Sevagala group, the police did not arrest Lukwago or Sevagala. In this particular case, you have Mbabazi that is alleged to have offended the regulations of the NRM. And the state of Uganda moves in full force. If I could have those pictures from Mbale. The state of Uganda moves in full force, shuts down Mbale town, goes to the bridge in Jinja and comes out in that forceful manner to say, we are here. So did Mbabazi offend the state of Uganda? Did he offend the NRM? Are they fused like we've said before? Chaz, the excitement, and finally what happened? For me, it's seen that before, happened before, it's deja vu. To you?
You ask me that?
I'm asking.
I have been with you here. I've been with you here. I've been telling Ugandans Amama Mbabazi would end where he actually is mobile. Is mobile. It could even have gotten worse. We should pray hard it shouldn't get worse, because you monitor the levels of stress of the other side. The other side is getting stressed day by day. You are where I was 7 years ago, when I was telling you and telling the country, Amama Mbabazi would be normal, would be finished by the NRM. He was then Minister for Security. He became Prime Minister, and your projection was going to be Vice President. And I said, no way, he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
He's still on the track to become president. He's still unopposed in the NRM.
Yes. So the one who was arrested is not Amama Mbabazi. The one who was arrested is a presidential aspirant. Uganda has arrested a presidential, two presidential aspirants, and we are discussing Amama Mbabazi. That is the danger. If they had arrested Amama Mbabazi, if President Museveni had wanted to curtail Amama Mbabazi, because the intelligence was available, he was very slow to swallow it, and that's the problem with some of these maneuvers. You have to be very quick. I think somehow they were lucky when they were fighting Obote, and as fate had it, the other guy slept. He's supposed to have been quick and arrested Amama Mbabazi, curtailed him at the stage of Temanga if he wanted to. But the moment when Amama Mbabazi declared and became a new creature under the law, the presidential aspirant, but that's the first stage. The second stage is the presidential candidate, and the third stage is the president. he now attacked freedom. He attacked democracy. So President Museveni has opened the war on democracy, a war he must lose. So yes, a war he must lose because democracy must triumph. This is to do with freedom. It's no longer partisan. Because I was rigged, I know what it means. I have supporters who were killed. I don't know whether Mama has already registered some. So we all galvanize our effort to defend freedom, to defend democracy at its greatest hour of need. Now, the other day, I was raising with you the issue of militia. I don't know whether your staff can get us those pictures where civilians were used in arresting those who were rioting or demonstrating when they arrested Chita Besigye. Civilians putting on even yellow t-shirts. I've even seen one of the civilians carrying an AK-47. So you bring out civilians, civilian militias. You use them.
I know my production team has a few of those pictures.
Oh yes. You use civilians to arrest, but it's in the monitor of today, page 2.
I know that in Kasangati, a group that is alleged, and mark my words, alleged to be Boda Boda 2010, was seen in operation with rungus, and they were moving in a van.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to pray to commit the same mistake they have committed, and bring out the names of the commanders of these militias for their own security, because my worry has been, in case there is a counter-attack from the other civilians, because they are not the only ones who have trained these militias. Also, the opposition has been training militias and has also infiltrated them with these militias. Actually, in that story, that group was also attacked by civilians. But the danger is that the government intends to arm them. Now, if you monitor where Amambabas was going, and I think also Chiza Besigye, is a distressed area. The demonstrations are taking place where NRM has allowed where the Museveni NRM has allowed demonstrations against the Amambabas NRM are in areas that are distressed. That is eastern Uganda, where there has been war, areas that have been dispossessed and deprived, where you have had women demonstrate through nudity, where you have women who have demonstrate through nudity, demonstrating for against being dispossessed.
Those are pictures courtesy of the monitor.
Yes.
And down you have the picture of the arrest.
You see civilians. I think there is some part they haven't.
We must acknowledge those are pictures courtesy of the Daily Monitor today.
So you can see one is carrying an AK-47. The other end you have one who has a stick. They are on phones. They are receiving instructions. Why do you use civilians to arrest civilians? So you know, this is what they are talking about about South Sudan, that it's a failed state. So you have been having demonstrations of the Museveni NRM against the Amambaba's NRM, heaping all the blames of NRM on Amambaba's NRM, but mainly in the distressed area, from Mbare, from Busoga up to Western Nile. You have had wars there, incessant wars. You have had deaths, according to Nyefuza's records. You have more than 1 million deaths. Children, families have been wiped out. They are under threat of losing their land. Women are demonstrating when they are nude. And this is where you now take demonstrations. But all this area has the highest proliferation of militias. Special Force of Ogore turns into UPA rebels. Now it is Arrow Boys under Mike Mukura, Echweru, and the others. And it goes through up to northern Uganda, including units of LRA. Then you have an offensive of Riek Machar, now operating south of Juba and threatening to take Nimure Road. So you don't have a wall like the way Tunisia is proposing to build. You don't have a wall like the way Israel has built. You don't even have a wall like Kenya is proposing to build. Guns enter in, like locusts, guns enter in, like grasshoppers, in an area that has militias that are very political, that can switch sides between Museveni and Amambabas, and where you have got the state having collapsed because you don't have police. Anamarabieko is not operational when you see it use civilians when there is no very serious crisis. So we have a big problem. Then you have an economy that is collapsing at fast rate because by this evening fuel is threatening to reach 4,000 shillings per liter. The dollar is in rebellion. President Museveni is going to import arms through getting a loan. I think it is the first time he's thinking of a loan to purchase weapons, and there is even a talk of postponing elections. So when you have all these, you need events to reduce anger. People should have hope that they can change a government
peacefully.
Peacefully. But if you have crossed all those avenues, then you are simply telling them, please prepare for a fight. And as it were, they are ready for it. And I raised it here the other day. The way I told him, among others will be a problem, is the way I'm telling him that should civilians be killed on the road because of the path he has taken to suppress freedom and suppress democracy, he will end in prison. What I'm fung. With all this group, actually, by the way, they need to disperse in time. We cannot afford to have IDPs. These IDPs you had in northern Uganda, he was able to negotiate that breathing space, and they allowed him to pray with actually the way he so wished to pray with Teso, and have them in IDPs, cut out the experiments they so wish to cut. You can't have IDPs here in the central. You should forget that. We can't lose kids because they have no food. We can't lose kids because they have no medicine. They have no water. We can't afford to do it. So the only way, therefore, is for him to organize a free, fair, and credible vote. And unfortunately, he has given evidence that he's allergic to democracy. He can't do that because he can't even compete with his own ideologues of the likes of Amama Mbabazi. And therefore the world will either force democracy on him or move on him like the way it has moved on the others who have resisted democracy. The likes of Gabugo, the likes of
Charles, hold there. You see, I'm listening to you.
I also wanted to answer the same question.
Just one moment.
Okay.
I'm listening to you, and while I appreciate lots of the ideas that you have repeatedly put out, you deliberately decide not to do any analysis on the events yesterday. Because when you deal with Mbabazi, what about Chiza Besigye? What happened to Chiza Besigye? When you deal with the specific internal regulations and the state being fused with those regulations, I'm looking at both of them. I looked at the pictures. Yesterday I watched about 4 of the international TVs. I watched France 24, Al Jazeera, BBC, and Press TV. And all of them for Africa led with the story of 2 presidential aspirants arrested. And that's the picture of Uganda that we had. You're dealing with an economy that is ripe for a collapse. We are becoming a Greece very soon. And then this is the picture out to the world. And I'm thinking, okay, Charles has dealt with the grander picture. Where is the fitting of the smaller one?
Let me come on that to give him some
David.
space. But I think I think that those newsrooms you've quoted, I think got the point wrong. It was not Besigye being arrested. It was not Amama being arrested. Actually, it was the law which was being arrested yesterday. It was actually the Uganda police being arrested by the political police, the Kaihura police, not the Kaihura. Kaihura, those ones who unleash horror. So we have to ask ourselves, where did the Uganda police go to give way to these hooliganism within the state who are trying to prosecute Uganda police? They are trying to arrest the Uganda police. So to me, it was justice that was being arrested yesterday. It was not Kizza Besigye, it was not Amama. So fortunately, in all the 2 cases, the law triumphed. Actually, justice triumphed because they had no section to charge these people on. They had no, at the end of the day, they looked big fools. You just wait for dusk. When darkness comes, you release these people to go back to their homes. So why do you spend 4.7 billion to do this?
David,
so
hold there.
Another thing was
just before that.
democracy deficiency syndrome. The temperatures have gone up.
Hold, David.
What is the disease?
On the first point that you make, that finally,
Had I finished?
we'll come back to you. Let David finish, and then we'll do the roll. Finally, when you say that the law triumphed, the intention of the offender is not that he is not offender, I suppose. He is not aware of the law. But his intention is to curtail these freedoms. And I have curtailed you for a day. And David Pulko
But-
is saying the law triumphed, but have managed to hold you back.
It doesn't matter because these people were going, like Amama was going to meet people under some tents.
Yes.
Okay? But the Kawezis, the Kaihuras, and those who did this yesterday helped the story to go beyond into Al Jazeera, into K24, into worldwide. Actually, they campaigned for Amama Mbabasi. Rather than curtailing him, they actually, the whole thing went spiral on many outlets, including social media. So that's why I thought that freedom triumphed in that case. Justice triumphed. Because at the end of the day, they did not end up in court. They were not convicted. So even when I went to have to check on Amama at Kira Road Police, so yes, apart from being inconvenienced and having a late lunch, which I found him taking, and I shared that late lunch with him, at least a fruit. So sitting in the office of the DPC, the officer in charge of the, so it was a good thing. But now when you look at the daughter being taken to Lugazi, Rachel, what was her crime? Accompanying a father. That what was her preventive arrest? What was she charged on? That charged for having an intention to commit a serious crime, to disobey lawful orders with her father.
The intention was to
an intention to disobey, to assist her father to disobey. You know, can you imagine accompanying your father, you know, really, and you're in a separate vehicle, and you're put behind bars. So you can see people tried. So what was under arrest was not Rachel. It was the law. It was justice. It was freedom, which was being arrested. So the temperatures have gone up. So when the patient temperature goes up, so you have to investigate what's the infection. The infection I'm saying is there's a syndrome, which is the democracy deficiency syndrome. And I think President Museveni needs an injection or re-injection of a democracy. And these guys who are putting on police uniform, abusing Uganda country badge, you know, the national flag, okay, and taxpayers' money, and masquerading, misusing the power, where the police is becoming a law to itself. Whose orders? Lawful orders of Kawezi. That Kawezi has the right to interpret the law, to enforce the law, and become a judge in his own case. Shame on you. Are these graduates?
I'll hold you. Viewers, I'm taking a break.
These are clowns of Idi Amin.
When I return from the break, I'll have, of course, when he talks about Idi Amin, I remember.
I mean, Amama says he was only arrested twice. One during Amin's time, and now under Museveni. You can see this.
I'll play that when Amama says that himself. Lovely. I'll play the voice and the pictures when Amama observes. And then I'll return with Dr. Mayambala Kakunguru to give me, you have Amama this side, and then you have Besigye this side. One has been cleared by his party. Because Besigye is cleared by his party, supposing that actually Amama offends his party. Besigye has been cleared by his party. The exercise is given the kudos of his party to go ahead. But you still curtail him, hold him, take him to Nagarama, and then release him at night and say, now you can go. And so, what happened? What crime did Besigye commit that Mbabazi also committed? Or is it a crime to stand in Uganda and say, I would wish to be president of this country, and you're not a YKM7? Don't go away.